So, welcome to the Love and Science weekly energy update. This week, the 10th through the 16th, and really we might even talk a little bit about the 17th as well, since this is Monday that we're getting the video out. And I really wanted to get this video done yesterday or this weekend sometime to be able to get it out early. And it's so funny, it's just very interesting how this all worked out, because what happened yesterday to me is very much what this energy is going to be doing to a lot of us this week. And it's, it's really focusing on not the disappointing things that have happened in your life, but being grateful for the good things that have happened in your life. This week is not going to be an easy week to get through. But it's so funny, I have always shared the things that I learn in my life because I hope that it can help other people to learn these lessons as well. And to also know that you're not, like, we all go through difficult times. We all go through very difficult energies. And, I think that the more that we allow ourselves to open that up to other people, and you guys know that if you've been watching me for a while, you know that I've always been an advocate of people opening themselves to be honest and authentic and real, instead of playing into that whole I have to look perfect or I have to have things done perfectly. We have the Sun sextile Neptune, we have Mars square Neptune, we have Mercury going retrograde, we have the Sun joining Pluto. There's a lot of beating yourself up this week. There's a lot of those really nitpicking at yourself. If you're not in a good space, and I'm going to say this right off the bat because I've been there before, if you're not in a good space mentally, please, please, please reach out to somebody. I know that that's not an easy thing to do. I know that that's the last thing that you want to do. But I promise you that you will someday be happier if you allow yourself to say, hey, I need a little help. Hey, I need a little assistance. And again, I understand how difficult that is to do, because you feel like nobody really understands you and nobody's really you don't want to be a burden on anybody. And I'm telling you right now that you are not a burden on anybody. Heck, email me if you have to. I don't mind. Or find me on one of the socials and send me a direct message. I don't mind. As long as you reach out to somebody. Sometimes reaching out to perfect strangers that you watch on the internet is a lot easier than reaching out to somebody that you know and love. So just keep that in mind as we go through this week. I've decided the thing that I had to learn for myself this weekend, and really recognizing why as we go into this week's energy, is that the way that I do things is always going to be in my way. It's never going to look like anybody else's. And there for a minute, I almost forgot that. And, it's kind of incredible when you get to remind yourself of those things by helping other people too. So grateful to be here. Thanks for hanging out with me for the next 30 to 40 minutes. So Monday, the moon will be in Taurus, which is today, and sextile Jupiter. Monday's probably going to be the day this week that feels the best out of all of them. Also, sort of depending on where you are with your journey or how well you do with centering yourself and grounding yourself, how the kind of environment that you're in, the people that you're around. If you're recognizing that the people that you're around are toxic for your mental and emotional status this week, that's going to be really, really clear. Like if you already sort of had an idea this is going to be extremely clear this week that the people around you, whether they're good for your mental capacity or bad, it'll be extremely clear. But Monday's going to be kind of one of those days where we just sort of float in the energy. The sun's going to be sextile Neptune, moon in Taurus, sextile Jupiter in Pisces. Get really creative. Your intuition is going to be super on point on Monday. So use that. You'll be able to see your connections with other people and even have empathy for other people as well. You'll be able to, it's like you can finally sort of see how everybody is just one. Like nobody is different than anybody else, and we all really can just be one energy if we were all setting that intention. So Monday's going to be a pretty easy day. Tuesday, the moon is in Taurus joining Uranus and squaring Saturn. So that in itself is going to be kind of temper flaring. We had a really kind of uneasy Aries moon this weekend. And so coming into this week, you might find yourself a little bit frazzled. Mars is also squaring Neptune on Tuesday. Mars is in Sagittarius, Neptune is in Pisces. They're both at 20 degrees. So Mars square Neptune is those feelings of doubt, those feelings of disappointment, those feelings of inadequacy and feeling discouraged about life. The biggest challenge with this transit is to not cave to those feelings of feeling hopeless and allowing yourself to either be reminded by somebody else or reminding yourself, like maybe today would be a good day to really make sure that you're grounded and you're centered and you prepare yourself. You know that you're going to be one of those people that's feeling a little bit inadequate this week. Preparing yourself mentally for that is always, it's always a good thing. You might feel guilty if if you are having consequences for things that happened in the past. There might be like a really big feeling of guilt and a really big feeling of questioning your life. This transit happens every 6 months, and it's meant to show us where we need to pivot. It's meant to show us where we need to change. It's meant to show us where we need to focus our attention on the next thing. And that's happening a lot this week, especially as we get further into the weekend with that sun conjunct Pluto. That, your life, if your life is not something that is fulfilling your soul or is fulfilling your purpose or is moving you along on your path, Mars square Neptune is going to be showing you, and it's going to be miserable. I mean, I'm just going to keep it real. It will be absolutely miserable if you are if you're working for other people that you don't want to work for. If it's not showing up in your soul in any way, then that's going to be a really difficult thing. And that's where a lot of that depression can come from, And we get diagnosed with it when we prolong that, when our soul wants to evolve and we just simply decide that we don't want to, because we have that free will, right? We have the free will to decide we don't want to evolve. I did it for 3 decades. The universe tried to wake me up for 3 decades and I kept putting it off and putting it off. You could also be really tempted to do deceitful things. If you are questioning yourself, if you're questioning anybody else, to get your way, you may find yourself either being manipulative or being deceitful in some way. But the best way to really utilize this transit is confronting your fears and letting them come up and asking yourself, is this fear something I need to hang on to anymore? Because usually you don't, right? We ask that about other people. Why can we not ask that about the fears and the triggers that come up? So conserving your energy, this is going to be really physically exhausting. Confronting your own fears and allowing yourself to accomplish things that you know that you can accomplish, and they're not like, don't go start studying something brand new this week and then feeling like, and then failing on it, right? Like if you feel like you're not doing good enough in a brand new subject or whatever it is that is coming up for you, just pay attention to how it actually makes you feel. The energy in our body that's the feelings that we have, right? And if we're not releasing that energy, if we're not like physical activity or anything like that, even fixed signs need to release the energy, and that Mars square Neptune can keep it really, really pent up inside of you and not easy to release. So Wednesday, the 12th, we will have the moon in Taurus trine the sun and trine Pluto. And Mercury is slowing down to station retrograde. So Mercury will be retrograde on Friday. But on Wednesday, Mercury really starts to slow down and will be square Uranus in Taurus. So Mercury is in Aquarius right now at 10 degrees. Uranus in Taurus at 10 degrees. They're never going to get to that exact square. So when Venus went retrograde, I think it was a sextile. Yes. Mars was in Scorpio, Venus was in Capricorn, and Venus and Mars were about to go to an exact sextile, and then Venus broke away and went retrograde. Mercury is doing that same exact thing to Uranus, but it's going to drive us crazy because we're going to be feeling that energy for about heavy, because it'll be conjunct at 10 degrees when Mercury goes retrograde, and it's irritating. Mercury square Uranus, we can get a lot done, but with that Mars square Neptune and the sun getting closer to Pluto and the moon trining, so the emotions will be flowing. We're going to be kind of irritated. This is going to be one of those weeks where everybody's going to be getting on everybody else's nerves if you let it, right? Remember, you're in control. You're the one that's in control of any of the emotions, any of the things that come up, any of those feelings. You're in control of the emotional part, right? The plans that you have made for this week may not work out. You have to be okay with that. Why do you have to be okay with it? You don't have to be okay with it. If you're not okay with it, you're just going to restrict yourself. You're just going to put yourself into anger or frustration in some way and restrict yourself. So yeah, you don't have to be okay with it. Being okay with it though, and this is where that choosing to suffer, right? This is going to be one of those weeks where we either choose our suffering, we either choose to suffer through this, or we can choose to pivot. We can choose to choose. We can choose to shift or change or do anything else. Remember that. You can always you always have the choice to do something different. A lot of people think that they're stuck in jobs because, oh my gosh, I've only been at this job for a certain amount of time. What are people going to say? What is it going to look like on my resume? I'm like, it's going to look like on your resume that you weren't happy at your job and you moved to another job. Like, what is, but people will stay in jobs and be miserable because they want to make sure that the bills that they have, they need to be paid. And yes, the bills do need to be paid. I understand that the bills need to be paid. But the bills can also be paid with other jobs or doing other things. And I feel like when people allow themselves to box themselves in situations, and I understand that my point of view is going to be a lot different than somebody else's point of view, because I've been homeless before. I've done that. I've been there, right? And I've pulled myself out of it. And so my mindset is in a much better place than a lot of people that are still in that spot where they're struggling. And if I would have had somebody look at me at that time and be like allowing yourself to suffer during this, I would have been like, lady, you are crazy. How am I just going to stop suffering? I would have said the exact same thing. And the only thing that I can say to that is that in your own time, and this week will show you how you're restricting yourself. And this Mercury square Uranus is going to show you the irritations that you have. And those irritations, it's about you. It's not about anybody else. It's about what you're doing to yourself. And you're allowing other people to trigger you, things like that. Because other people will just do whatever the fuck that they're doing. And if we just let other people do whatever they're doing and mind our own business and not worry about it, we wouldn't be triggered and we wouldn't get irritated and we wouldn't be all frustrated. And that's the suffering, right? They're not suffering. The people that are doing the triggering, right? That's creating that restriction in us and that anger in us, they're not suffering. So why are we letting them do that to us, right? And it really is about changing your mindset. That's the thing. That's the biggest thing. But I do understand that we all are in different phases of life. And so allowing yourself to just have a little bit of hope. Seriously, I think that is what got me through all of that, is I always had just a little bit of hope. And my Sagittarius moon helped me with that. But wherever you can find it, this Mercury squaring Uranus is going to help us our mental capacity is going to be extremely stimulated all week long. And so allowing yourself, instead of getting irritated, instead of getting angry, instead of letting other people trigger you, focus on that thing that you've really been wanting to focus on. And if you're not able to do that, then find something physical, to get the energy out. That's what it is. We don't want to store this extra energy, this extra stimulation that's happening this week. We don't want to store that in the body. So finding ways to release that in whatever way you decide is best for you, that's going to be the best move for it. Especially as we go into Thursday, the 13th, the moon is going to be in Gemini, joining the North Node for the last time before the North Node goes into Taurus on the 18th of January. And the moon is also going to be square Jupiter. And Mercury is stationing. So there's this mad frustration. Mental capacity, again, moon in Gemini, that is a stimulated mental, because Mercury, right? The moon's planet, the ruling planet of the Gemini moon, is stationed to retrograde on Friday. And whenever Mercury stations, it's always sort of like, can't do anything. It feels like quicksand. For me, I'm extremely Mercury ruled. So yeah, it's pretty, it's going to be, like you can't, you really want to do things, but you can't really get anything accomplished. Allowing yourself to say, and maybe honestly, there are going to be some people that just won't be able to do anything, get anything done at work. And it's funny because I don't even want to say that in a way where it frightens anybody. I just don't want anybody to put themselves into situations where they're extra frustrated. So letting the energy flow, letting it happen the way that it's going to happen. Things are going to happen unexpectedly. Uranus is a planet of massive changes, massive growth, and it's quick, it's swift, right? It doesn't do that Saturnian long-ass drawn-out lesson. It's like, no, this is done. So that's what you need to be prepared for. And over stimulating your mind in the process or being irritated and angry, that's not going to help. Really pay attention when you're out driving as well. Mercury and Gemini both rule transportation, so be very careful of that. Friday the 14th, Mercury retrograde begins at 6:41 a.m. Eastern, 10 degrees Aquarius. The moon is in Gemini. And remember that this is all leading us up to a full moon in Cancer on Monday, the 17th. But yeah, so the moon in Gemini will be trine Saturn, and things are going, again, it's going to feel like quicksand. It's going to feel like you're not going to be able to really get a lot of stuff accomplished or done. It's funny because I know that there are some astrologers that are also sort of predicting some big stuff happening just collectively and in the world too. And you know, I wouldn't be surprised. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if there were certain shocking events that were to happen in the collective this week. Saturday, the 15th, we have the moon in Cancer. This is leading to the full moon, and it's going to be trine Jupiter and square Chiron. That's going to create huge emotions within you as we get up to that full moon. Let it go. Let it release. Let it release. Let it release. If you need to cry all day this week, or if you need to cry all weekend, then do that. This is just, it's almost as if, it's kind of funny to say this, but it's almost as if this is kind of cleansing a lot of stuff. This energy here is cleansing a lot of stuff. And I know that everybody wants this Jupiter and Pisces transit to be really positive and really exciting and really fun. And there's going to be moments of that, but we have been through 2 years of a lot of trauma and a lot of pain and a lot of people are suffering right now. And I feel like as we get up to even the United States Pluto return that's happening in February, you know, there's this cleansing that's really happening in this Cancer full moon. It's the mother. It's going to be happening in the natural 4th house. It's the mother energy. And she's sort of just like wrapping all of us up, and she's saying, just let it out. Just let it go, let it out. The sun's going to be conjunct Pluto on Sunday the 16th. This full moon will be opposite Pluto. So anything that is in your life that is not allowing you to evolve, Pluto is going to take that and be like, nope, and take it right out of your way. Sun conjunct Pluto can have a whole bunch of different circumstances, but with that Mercury retrograde, and Mercury I think will be at 9 degrees on Sunday, so it's already moving away from that square to Uranus, but it's still there. It's still there. It's just not as strong, but it's also retrograde. And so a couple of different types of things can happen with Sun conjunct Pluto, but whatever it is that does happen, it will be an intense transit. Greatly stimulating. This is opening up our awareness. Mercury square Uranus is helping with that as well. Sometimes we're going to be feeling a little bit irrational. A lot of people are probably going to be angry. There's a pressure cooker feeling with this kind of thing. And it's almost as if with the Mercury retrograde and Venus retrograde and everything is just like ready to pop. And literally the entire month of January is ruled by Saturnian themes. Whether it's Saturn or it's a planet that's ruled by Saturn, or Venus in retrograde, you know, Venus is in Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. So everything that's happening is very Saturnian ruled. This Mercury retrograde Aquarius, Saturn ruled. And it's going into Capricorn, Saturn ruled. So the things that you are doing right now are lining you up for the karmic path that you're on. And the karmic path that we're on doesn't mean that karma isn't always just bad. Karma is also good. It's what goes around comes around. So whatever it is that you're doing, whatever your soul wants you to be led towards, you know, Pluto is the evolution of the soul. And that is exactly what we're having to do right now. And the only way to do that is to get as deep as, you know, just go as deep as you can within yourself and identify all of the ways that you stop yourself from growing and identify all of the ways that you stop yourself from changing. You are going to be more sensitive to others. You'll be able to, you could actually benefit by empathizing with others and coming together with others and being like, yes, we're in this. It's almost as if there needs to be this collective healing, and that's the sun, because the structures need to change, and we've got Saturn in Aquarius, while this Saturn ruled sun and the Saturn ruled Pluto conjunct, and the Aquarius energy is for the collective. So I've actually never really known an Aquarius to be like, yes, let's, come together and be in a group. Like, they have like a lot of friends, but they're like one-off friends. There's never really like a community that they bring things together. But yeah, so this is going to help you be more sensitive to others, be more empathizing towards others, be more open to the things that other people are going through. But it's also can be something where it makes you feel like the weight of the world is just sitting on your shoulders. And maybe you feel like you've lost all hope, or maybe, with all of these energies this week and what's happening in the world, I want everybody to just stay safe. And a lot of times that is about making sure that your mental and your emotional capacity is strengthened. And we have to, instead of just ignoring that we need to do that, like that's one of the reasons why the 90s were just riddled with Xanax and all of, every single, Prozac and what, Prozac Nation was, done in the 90s. And so allowing ourselves to get really, really honest with it and be very open about the things that we're all going through. I guarantee you there's so many people out there that would probably understand exactly what you're going through. We just have to be willing to understand that there are safe spaces where there is no judgment and no shame. So this is one of them. Or you can go to my Instagram. There's another one there. Or you can go to my Twitter. There's another one there. Avoid overindulging in anything, especially drugs and alcohol. That will make things worse. It will make you feel worse. I know in the moment it's great because it numbs you and it takes away the pain for a brief moment. But honestly, you guys, the long-term effects of doing drugs to take away the pain it's just not what you want. I mean, maybe it is what you want, but I would not want that for you because I think that everybody deserves better. If you feel the need to withdraw from the real world, try and meditate. Go for a walk. Sometimes, I don't know if anybody, this is so funny, about to bare my soul to you guys. So sometimes I will play the Monopoly casino game on my phone. There's an app for that. And I get myself lost in it, and I just play this stupid, silly little game, and I build tiny, and so, people have, the Minecraft and the Sims and all of those things. And I think, obviously I don't want you guys to just get sucked into it so much that that's where you stay. But really, if there are things that you, like if you're doing fine and the rest of the world is bringing all of their stuff to you and you just want to be on your own, I would not see a problem with just doing that on Sunday and allowing yourself to kind of get lost in another world. Sometimes that's healthy, just not getting stuck in it. Don't let yourself get stuck in it. Monday, we have the full moon in Cancer. I will do a whole video for that. I wasn't able to do the last moon video. January is just going by so dang fast. I'm trying to stay caught up with everything. I don't know if I can though. So I think that I need to give myself a little grace along with everybody else. I give more grace to everybody else than I give myself. I think that is a theme. I will be dropping horoscopes for each of the rising signs in my memberships this week. I'm hoping to get the video today. It'll either be today or tomorrow, but I will be doing weekly horoscopes for the rising signs. If you would like to join, you can click the button under this video, or you can go to Patreon. And I'm going to start recording February readings either this week or next week. I don't think I'm going to rush it. I think I'm just going to let it happen is the way that it's supposed to. Because I don't think rushing anything in this energy is a thing. That's just, it's not going to be possible. Every single time you try to rush something in this energy, it'll just backfire on you. Completely backfire. And because Mercury retrograde is starting, you'll have to redo it. But yeah, that Cancer moon on Monday will definitely help you release a lot of things that you're holding on to if you allow it, especially in the house where Cancer sits in your natal chart. For me, I'm a Libra rising, so Cancer's in my 10th house. So yeah, it's going to be fun releasing all of that. But this is the thing. This is like my Cancer 10th house is me professing like I teach you guys what I learn. So here we are. I love you all. Please take really good care of yourselves, and I hope you have a wonderful week. I know it's going to be a tough one, but keep your head up. Bye.